Hello, welcome again to the Big and Tall Movie Review Show. I am RC. With me, as always, is Big Red.
How we doing?
Hello, Maximus is with us as well.
Hello, everybody.
And today we're getting back into the reviewing some of the fall films of 2013. The one we're going to jump into here real quick is Gravity, the 3D science fiction thriller starring Sandre Bullock and George Clooney. Directed by Alfonso Cuarón. We're going to play a little clip for you here. And this is Gravity.
Explorer's been hit. Explorer, do you read? Explorer, over. Explorer. Astronaut is off structure. Dr. Stone is off structure. Dr. Stone detached. You must detach. If you don't detach, that arm's going to carry you too far. Listen to my voice. You need to focus. I'm losing visual of you. In a few seconds, I won't be able to track you. You need to detach. Can't do anymore. Do it.
And there you go. That sounds pretty intense. Basically, that scene is Sandra Bullock doing flip after flip after flip after she breaks off of the side of a spaceship. Maximus, you saw this in the film theater. Saw this film in the theaters. Big Red, you did too. I guess I'll start with. I'll go start with you, Max. What did you think of Gravity?
I was pretty impressed. I thought Sandra Bullock did a really great job kind of carrying the movie, especially since it kind of plays out in one long sequence. That's got to be pretty difficult to keep everyone
Keep the
enthused
intensity
the
level.
entire time.
Yeah. This film kind of dates back to more like a stranded on a desert island type situation. A lot of stress, isolation type situation. Is it kind of similar to that, would you say? I mean,
yeah, in a lot of ways, I would say so. It's just kind of complete helplessness for the entire, however long the movie is, about 91 minutes. Yeah.
Well, the little thing at the beginning says it's the most harshest environment to survive in.
Oh yeah,
So,
they do give you a little
like
disclaimer.
how the temperatures fluctuate and
yeah,
also
saving your breaths, etc.
yeah, exactly.
But anyway, I was just curious.
Well, I think one of the things that people have asked me since seeing it is, is this just two people floating in space? And it's more than that.
There is some of that in there, but it is more than that.
Yeah,
yes.
I think there's been a lot of people who are thinking it's just George Clooney and Sandra Bullock just kind of floating in space and talking for 90 minutes, and it's definitely not that.
Right, and the shortness of the movie really kind of helps it.
Yeah,
a lot.
Yeah, I would think they would. Only so much time you allowed. You could
not
do
much
this.
wasted time in this. The effects in this are really amazing.
Yeah, I thought they were really the star of the movie.
Yeah, especially I think really the scene at the beginning is what's really been pushed in the trailers and all that, with the space shuttle exploding and said her being she's like being whipped around in her face. I mean
really
it looks real well done.
Yeah. And the whole sequence is happening because of the Russians blowing up one of their own satellites.
Damn
and
Russians.
It's a debris line flying their way at high speed.
And that's a piece of the Russian ship. Yeah,
causing the whole calamity.
Yeah.
Did you? Was this taking place in a modern time?
Yeah.
or-
Well, and to get a little context, you have Clooney is playing like a very seasoned astronaut who's on his last space mission.
Yeah.
And Bullock, this is her first time.
Yeah, the rookie.
So the rookie veteran dynamic, and how he's kind of the calm voice when everything hits the fan.
Yeah.
And trying to keep her under control and all. So
Now
that's kind of the.
No, not to give anything
dynamic.
away. Is he stuck up there with her, or is this her by herself up there? Is it?
Well, they're both out there.
Okay. It was this. What was this rated again?
PG-13.
PG-13.
Yeah, it's it's
It's got pretty high reviews all around. That
yeah,
everybody's seen
and
it.
amazingly, it's I think in its third week, it's still been number one at the box office. It's
Yeah, and I think I heard that.
Oh, really? It's still number.
yeah, it's like doing record. Normally movies dropped quite a bit after the first week, and it's only dropped 20 some odd % each week, which is.
I don't know what competition it's had coming out in the last couple of weeks.
I will say this though, it's I don't know what version you saw it in, Max. I saw it in IMAX 3D.
I did too, actually.
It's worth spending the extra money on.
It was the only time slot that I could go see, but I was glad that it ended up that way because that's the way to see that movie.
The 3D was really well done. The IMAX. I also like the little touch of having Ed Harris play the voice of Mission Control.
Yeah, that's.
Oh wow, yeah, I didn't catch that.
Harken back to the Apollo 13,
and the,
kind of the same
right
nice
stuff
little
guy. Yeah,
nice little Easter egg there.
That's funny.
Any
can't believe I didn't notice that.
Any astronauts, you got to get Ed Harris involved. I mean, he was in the right stuff and all that.
Yeah, I think the big thing too here though is Sandra Bullock, who I think really showed something here. I mean. I know she won an Oscar for the Blind Side, which I never really got. I didn't really see.
I never saw the movie. It didn't look like my kind of flick.
I mean,
But I think she could have another nomination coming from this.
I think she was very, very solid in this. Clooney kind of... I would say he plays George Clooney in space in this.
Basically, yeah. He hammed it up a little bit too much, I thought. It just came off of kind of cheesy in a situation that's supposed to be...
pretty intense.
Of course, I was
pretty extreme.
Reading it, I guess he was kind of a last-minute ad. I guess.
Actually, I don't think either of them were first choice.
Yeah. Well, I think she had been more involved with him. But I guess Robert Downey Jr.
That's what I was reading.
And I think Angelina Jolie was the first choice for the.
And frankly, I would take George Clooney over Robert Downey Jr. I just.
I don't think Angelina Jolie could act this intense.
Yeah.
I just don't think
she's a much better choice.
I just couldn't see Robert Downey Jr. doing this type of movie. It just, I don't know. I think Clooney was a better choice than Robert Downey Jr.
They said they had Scarlett Johansson, Blake Lively, several other female actresses were on.
They screen test. I think they tested a lot.
Even Natalie Portman.
I
could see Portman maybe doing it. But I really liked. I think this probably was a really something that Bullock probably could really use for her career as far as the intensity levels. I could see her being that stressed.
And she does a good job with it. And they kind of you kind of find out her backstory too a little bit, which kind of helps kind of move the movie along. But again, it's not, like I said, it's not just two people standing out there. We're stuck in space talking the meaning of life, and there's they really ratchet up the tension in scenes, and again, I can't say enough how good the special effects were in this.
Yeah, they raised the bar for sure.
Yeah.
And this Alfonso Cuarón director, I guess this is his.
Yeah, I think his last one was Children of Men with Clive Owen.
Yeah, that was quite a few years ago now.
He did a Harry Potter film too.
Most people would call it the good one.
Yeah,
I actually would call it the worst Harry Potter film. I thought it was terrible, but it always surprises me that he's the one that directed that.
He does a good job, though. Like, I know in Children of Men, he did some very long takes of scenes.
Yeah.
And he does that in this as well, which is, I guess, kind of seems to be his style a little bit.
True.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, it seems like he's hit this one pretty big. Sounds like they really took their time trying to figure out who they wanted for it and what they were going to do with it.
And did it right.
Yeah, it sounds like they did it well.
I really think this one will be one that
it'll probably get a lot of cinematographic awards and nominations too. It sounds like for all the special effects and.
Well, I read on Rotten Tomatoes that 98% of the critics in the nation have given it their equivalent of a thumbs-up rating.
Yeah.
So
I would think you'd see director, probably nominations, special effects, definitely for sure. Sandra Bullock, I would think would be a strong contender.
Yeah. Yeah, I would not be surprised at all.
I mean, this one came in with a lot of hype, and it really, really delivered on it.
Agreed.
Yeah, it had a production. The budget was $100 million, filmed digitally,
and you can definitely
on Arri Alexis. But yeah, it's I guess they've been photography and filming has been on this, and they've been working on it since May of 2011. So
yeah, it's really. I mean, I can't again. Probably sound like a broken record here, but it's really, really well done.
Yeah. Well, guys, I'm really anxious to try to see this film myself, and what would you guys go ahead and give your cans for Gravity, starring Sandre Bullock and George Clooney?
What do you think, Big Red?
Well, on the Facebook side, I did an early review of this, and I gave it 5.5 cans. But I said I really wouldn't argue if anybody wanted to go the full 6 on it.
I wouldn't argue with anyone that said 6. I'm gonna give it 5 cans for my personal review. My chief complaint just being that Clooney could have played it a little bit more serious.
A little more straight to the, what was he, just kind of campy with
just
the old school
being
60s?
Jokey, telling funny college stories, trying to calm Sandra Bullock down,
kinda,
basically. But it came off kind of campy in the middle of a extremely serious movie.
Yeah.
He was kind of playing Danny Ocean in space.
A little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit, but yeah.
Well, I understand trying to calm someone down using different,
Well, he just kind of was playing a space
telling
cowboy
stories,
type
yeah.
Yeah. Just should have left a little bit of himself out of the role.
Yeah, he could have dialed it back. He was probably at 11.
Wasn't terrible or anything.
No. And he had his moments, too, where he was very effective. But, again, like I said, I'd go 5.5 cans.
All right, we got high praise for Gravity. You ought to go check it out. I'm interested to see. I haven't really heard of, besides you fellas, I haven't really heard of too many people that have actually seen it, I don't think. So,
Really?
I mean, that I know personally. So I'd like to maybe get some feedback. Anybody that's on our Facebook site would like to make comments or anything, please feel free to check it out at the Big and Tall Movie Review Show on Facebook. And I know several of you all kind of follow our advice on movies and what you think, and we'd love to hear your take as well. So, all right, we'll be back with more Big and Tall Movie Review Show.